The basketball playoffs are here on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on the action. The app is simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code FIELD, that's code FIELD, and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code FIELD on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for just playing, guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the facility. It's a little dry today. No music. It's all good. It's all good.
No music?
We gonna provide the soundtrack.
Make our own music, dog. Make our own music,
It's the
playoff. It's a facility. No music?
And that's James Jones to the right. We got the quarterback. What's up with it, Ray?
Man, it's good.
All good.
Look, next time there's no music, just let me know. I'll rap.
Yeah,
all right, this is I'll rap.
I make a beat. We don't want to start the show off like that.
Hopefully y'all are having a great morning. It's the facility. If it's your first time hanging with us, we don't take it for granted. Y'all could be watching any show and you're hanging with us. Hopefully we provide the laughs, provide the smiles. Did I get music yet? No, still no music. It's fine. Hey, let's start in Philly. Fly, Eagles, fly. All right.
You know how we do. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Hey, Super Bowl champ Nick Sirianni, he held up his end of the bargain as he held up the Lombardi Trophy just a few months ago, and now he has been rewarded with a multi-year contract extension. Hey, you never know how much you value music until you don't.
Until you don't have it.
Until you don't.
Bring your own
have
juice.
it. Coleman, how long till we get music back, bro? How long until we get music back? Please. 2-5, Nick Sirianni. He just got a contract extension.
Yeah, he deserves
That's your
it.
man's. Is it fair to say that Nick Sirianni is the best coach in the NFC?
Hey, Nick, and I apologize, Nick. I'll make sure I text you later today and congratulate you on that new contract because you did earn that thing.
Yes,
Okay? This is an easy one, though. Right? Because we can live in the past, all these different coaches and all that. But we live in today, right now. Absolutely, he's the number 1 coach in the NFC. I mean, if you just look at his track record, right, and this is an easy one. I don't have to really brag too much, but all he does is win. At his worst, there's some teams at their worst, they might lose games and might not go to the playoffs, right? Not him. At my worst, I'm going to the playoffs. I don't have to talk about it because you can see it. Overall, he's 54-23 overall record. Super Bowl champ. He's been there twice. 2-time NFC champs. That's what he does. He's 40-20 overall 4 years. In the playoffs, he's 6-3. I just don't know what else I can say about him. And the sad thing is, he's just getting started. This might be the worst we see in Nick Sirianni because he's going to go back again. And these next 3 years, you telling me we ain't go to 2 NFC championship games in the next 2 years? Next 3 years? Talk about it.
It's going to be tough to argue with you.
We look at a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who, when he came into the league, most people didn't think much about him. Yeah. At Alabama, you were really, really good. You were that good that you got benched in the biggest game of your career in college. Okay? Then you move on to Oklahoma, right, to see how that thing worked out. You didn't go first round. You went second round. You came to Philadelphia when they already had a really good quarterback, right? And I don't know how that was going to work out, but it was a lot of controversy. Nick Sirianni came through and developed this quarterback. With all these different coordinators, it's hard to do that. And my real estate business, I always tell people, I want to stick with the guys I know. I want to stick with my contractor. I want to stick with my painters because I know that who they are. I don't want to have, and I always relate this to football, I say I don't want to have a new coach every game, a new coach every year, a new coordinator every year. They had that in Philadelphia. And the same thing that happened, the same results. We win, and we go to the playoffs. And we go to the Super Bowl. So, I'm going to keep it real short, fellas.
Real short.
Nick Sirianni is the best coach in the NFC.
It's hard to argue. I'm not going to argue.
Please don't argue that.
I'll suggest this. I think Nick Sirianni is the best coach in the NFC because even if it's debatable, because Sirianni won the Super Bowl most recently, he's got to get the edge. The biggest indicator to me that Sirianni is the best coach in the NFC is what I love the most. He won a Super Bowl with the quarterback he inherited. We haven't seen that happen since Peyton Manning, Gary Kubiak in 15, and Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers, 2011. A quarterback you inherited. All these other coaches winning Super Bowls with quarterbacks they handpicked. Sean McVay, I have a #1 overall pick in Jared Goff. No, I don't like that Mercedes-Benz. I want the Rolls-Royce in Matthew Stafford. You even think about Kyle Shanahan. Though he hasn't won a Super Bowl, he's been to Super Bowls. 3 different quarterbacks he handpicked. Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. You think about Bruce Arians. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl with the quarterback he handpicked, who just so happened to also be Tom Brady. Zach Taylor, he got to handpick Joe Burrow, didn't win a Super Bowl, but went to a Super Bowl. Not only has Nick Sirianni gone to a Super Bowl, but he's won a Super Bowl with the QB he inherited.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson and company acquired Jalen Hurts. I inherited you, Jalen Hurts, and I won a Super Bowl with you. That, to me, it speaks the most. But also, you can knock Sirianni for not calling plays and not dictating X's and O's. But to me, Chase, the most important thing is how he keeps the train on the tracks.
Yeah.
Like, when I really think about the fact of whether you know this team well or don't know this team at all, clearly the people at the top don't all see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah.
Most importantly, one of the most polarizing and divisive figures you could suggest in the country, Saquon Barkley, spending all the time in the world with him, President Trump, and notably the quarterback, along with the two-star receivers, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, didn't go to the White House. So just by nature of one of the most polarizing figures who some befriend and others stay away from, and you keep them on the same track with the same goal, winning the same Super Bowl,
Yeah.
to me, Sirianni's ability to galvanize a team speaks volumes. That's why he's the best.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough conversation because it's not easy at all. Nick Sirianni has been special. He's been special in Philadelphia. And then not only that, one of the biggest markets, too, you're going to take a lot of heat, even if you lose 2 games in a row and still make the playoffs in Nick Sirianni. But I got to go with Sean McVay. And I earned a lot of respect for Sean McVay as a coach these last 2 years, right? You lose Aaron Donald, and your roster really is not built to go chase championships or even really built to get to the playoffs. We were all talking about the Rams like they're in a rebuild situation, right? You lost a lot of players, F them picks and all that. You did get a Super Bowl out of it. And Sean McVay said, hold on, I'm still a mastermind at this thing. I still have a really good quarterback in Matthew Stafford. And he took some really, really young rosters to the playoffs. And a lot of these games he wins, we can point at him and say, yeah, that was because Sean McVay. Yeah, that was a great call by Sean McVay. I knocked Sirianni a little bit, and I apologize, because he doesn't do any of that. And it might not be fair, but he doesn't call plays. He doesn't do any of that. So I give Sean McVay the edge on that, and he's been to NFC Championship games, and he's been to 2 Super Bowls, and he's won a Super Bowl, and he's still getting to the playoffs consistently with young rosters. I put Sean McVay as the best coach in the NFC right now. That's my vote, but it is very, very, very close, man. Listen to y'all. Y'all almost changed my answer. Y'all did.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to argue that he's certainly one of the best.
That's inarguable.
To say he's the best, I don't know. Like, I would say, and I put him in a tier of similar, like-minded coaches that include Sean McVay. I look at the head coaches in the NFC similar to tiers, and here's the 6 guys that made my tier. Dan Campbell, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni, all for different reasons. Like, and this is not in order, so don't freak out. I don't have Dan Campbell number 1. However, it's an alphabetical order. And when you look at the success that Nick Sirianni's had this season, think about it. They started 2-2, then won 16 out of the last 17 games. And I was hard on Nick Sirianni when they started 2-2. Rightfully so. There were some strategic mishaps, right? You get that sometimes as a CEO-type coach. But what's fascinating to me and where I think he's really blossomed as a head coach is he's done it with different coordinators. I think the smartest thing he did last year was hire Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio to oversee the offense and the defensive side of the football. More importantly, he kept a team together through a lot of tough times because we had a lot of topics on this show about the Philadelphia Eagles. The drama incidents last year include A.J. Brown reading a book on the sideline. We went crazy for that. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith calling out the passing game. Remember with that, the Jalen Hurts, well, what's the problem? It's passing. Remember Brandon Graham saying things have changed between Hurts and Brown during a radio interview. Sirianni yelling at Eagles fans, shaving his head. Browns and Hurts beefed up on the sideline game in week 2 of 2023. There's been a long road to get here. And a CEO-type coach is supposed to galvanize a team, is supposed to keep a team together because the Eagles have a lot of big-name personas.
Of course.
And when they have that, you have to have a head coach that can handle all the different personalities and personas and all this stuff on the outside seemed like it was a huge deal and would derail their season. And what did the Eagles do? They won a Super Bowl. So he's without a doubt one of them.
Because of sports television, I'm going exactly where you're going. Because of sports television, let me derail this conversation, Chase, and obviously in a respectful manner. I think it is disrespectful to include a guy I've spent time with off of the football field, Kevin O'Connell, in the same conversation as Nick Sirianni. Sure.
Coach of the Year.
I think it's disrespectful to include, and a Coach of the Year, which I voted, by the way. Yep. I vote for Kevin O'Connell for Coach of the Year, and I do not think that Kevin O'Connell is the coach that Nick Sirianni is. I think it's disrespectful to include Dan Campbell in the same conversation as Nick Sirianni. Reason I would suggest 2 Super Bowl appearances, obviously, for Nick Sirianni, Super Bowl win for Nick Sirianni. Dan Campbell's gone to an NFC championship game, I believe, once. Yeah. He's been there for 4 years, obviously. Shout out to what he's done. Kevin O'Connell has never won more than 2 playoff games. I think he's won 1 playoff game in the entirety of his tenure. Shout out to Kevin O'Connell and what he's done with who he's done it with. Yeah. But Nick Sirianni should, I believe, only be in a conversation with Sean McVay. And if you want to include Kyle Shanahan, of which I would include, and because I'm partial, admitting my bias, if you want to include Kyle Shanahan, who's also been to 2 Super Bowls, include that. But
I don't, because I like Kyle, but he can't sit at this table and talk to us right now.
That's fair.
You good? You are good. You ain't no winner though. And the thing I love about Nick Sirianni is he didn't get that shot. Right? When he signed to the Eagles, nobody was like, oh, my God, we got one. True. Nobody said that. Yeah. But when Kyle Shanahan came in there, they was excited because of his history and his family. Yep. And then even Sean McVay, people say, this kid is so smart, this and the third. So that's one part of it. The second part is all these moving pieces. So you get a quarterback like Jalen Hurts that nobody was just big on and thought that he would succeed. True. And he said, I'll take him and I'll make sure he'll be well. He'll be good. And he was good, right? And then the last part is all the different coordinators. Listen, I'll tell you what. I was a really good player in any system, any scheme. That's his God-gifted, blessed talent, right? But it's hard to just be good in all systems.
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying? Because some coaches don't like the way you do this. Some coaches don't like the way you do that. And for somehow, some way, Nick Sirianni has so many different coordinators, and it didn't matter. Yeah. We're going to the bowl. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the NFC Championship game. And then the last part is when you talk about superstar players, it's hard to deal with all of them.
That's what I'm saying.
He want to do this. He want to do that. I don't like this call. I don't like that call. I want to read a book. I don't want to read a book. And he found a way to monetize all that.
Yep. That's it.
No, that's not it. That is not it. And the last thing is, when I look at the Niners, I don't see no Super Bowl in their path. They're not really wrong because I don't know everything, but I don't see it. The Rams. Now last year they proved me a little bit wrong at the end.
Yeah.
Right? At the end they proved me wrong. And I think going forward they made some moves in the offseason. Like, okay, I could potentially see in them. I could see some Super Bowl in their path, right, going forward. But for the Eagles, if a person on TV or somebody in your neighborhood say, I can't see the Eagles going back to the NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl, they are a liar and they are lying. Yeah. And that gives a lot of credit to Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, and I agree, like I said.
Thank you for agreeing. Thank you for agreeing.
Really quick with Chase, man, because,
What's up, man?
You come up here and you try to put the wool over our eyes with your tears.
What you talking about?
And not pick a coach, man. Pick a coach, number one. Right. Pick a coach. Nick Sirianni or Sean McVay. That's it. It's one of them.
Right. Oh, this one that. I like this guy. I like that guy. You don't like only one of them.
That's 20% of the coaches in the NFL.
We all looking right now
like only 2 more coaches. Put the pressure on him, please.
I think all those coaches are in the top tier of coaching. And you can say disrespectful, you can say this, that, another.
There's 16 NFC teams.
Yeah.
That's 6 of 16.
If I'm starting a team.
That's 40% of the NFC coaches.
So you're not going to control your show? You don't control your show or not?
Completely. What's wrong with having 6 coaches in the top tier?
He's in the top 40%?
Yeah. He's one of the top coaches in the NFC.
But that's almost half the coaches in the NFC.
Is Nick Sirianni the best coach in the NFC? And you gave us 6 coaches up here.
Can I ask a question? Chase, can I ask one question, though? Because I hate what you're doing, but I love you. Right? How can Nick Sirianni be in the same conversation of everybody else other than Sean McVay? No, I'm being serious, though.
Me too.
First of all, he can absolutely be in the same conversation with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, since 2019, has been to 2 Super Bowls and 2 NFC Championship games with all sorts of type of rosters. He has not won a Super Bowl. I get you. He absolutely deserves to be in the same.
Wait, time out. Chase.
He absolutely deserves to be in the same tier.
Hold on. But Chase, you talk like he won something.
I get that. I'm saying in general, a bet, like I would say with Sirianni, right? Like I like Sirianni.
I can't tell you.
I can't tell.
Not yet. I can't tell yet.
I just gave a huge quote about how he kept the team together.
But you kept him there with Kevin O'Connell, who's a phenomenal man.
Won Coach of the Year with Sam Darnold.
So did Brian Dable won Coach of the Year, right?
It doesn't matter? So it's just
it's not the same as Super Bowl.
You just voted on it?
I'm just saying Kevin Stefanski won it twice.
I believe all those coaches I have on my tiers, they've done a really good job
of
maximizing the talent that they have on their roster. I would say the Eagles roster is without a doubt the best roster that he's had the past 3 or 4 years.
And so have the Niners.
And so he's done well with it.
And that's it. I knew he was going to.
Not last year.
When they were having success.
When they were having success.
I'm saying not last year.
But I'm saying when they were having success like the Eagles, the roster was great. Everybody said, all right, the roster.
Kyle Shanahan is in the tier.
But you didn't win, though.
He didn't win. And I love Kyle.
I'm saying, but not only that,
they were an overtime away.
But if your tier was those three, respectable.
I thought you liked that I put LaFleur.
I mean, I like my Packers, but LaFleur shouldn't be on there right now when we're talking about Sirianni.
You guys don't think Dan Campbell's
with all due respect.
One of the best head coaches.
We think he's
not when you're talking about Sirianni, though. You know what I'm saying?
If you break those tiers up into that's fine. I mean, that's who I believe that I want to start a franchise with.
How about this? Okay, because I'm on TV, I'm learning how to ask different questions to get different results.
Yes, sir.
You're growing.
Right.
I'm trying to grow.
You live in San Diego, right?
SD, baby.
If you don't tell me one coach, we're taking your keys and you cannot leave. Tell us if you had to
leave in LA.
If you had to pick one coach, and if you don't pick it, you can't leave. I mean, you can't see your kids, you can't see your wife, you can't see that nice big house you got.
If I had to pick one coach, it's Sean McVay.
Thank you, sir.
Fair.
Thank you.
That's all I've been trying to get you to say.
We could have a conversation around these head coaches.
Chase, no.
Oh, I told you it would go.
The question wasn't let's have a conversation about the best coach. It's Nick Sirianni.
I can't, and I wanted to be respectful to Sirianni because I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFC.
But
so it's a different way of saying, hey, these are who I think.
But it's okay saying he's the best.
But it's also fair. I like what you said, though, in regards to it's fair to say Sean McVay's the best.
No, of course.
There's several arguments for Sean McVay being the best. It'd be hard to convince anybody that Shanahan's the best. But you could
I disagree with that. I think he's up there with Sirianni.
But I
get the Super Bowl as the tiebreaker, sure.
That's my point.
But the sustained success over the long term, right? Sirianni has done it for 4 years. He's been to the playoffs each of the first.
But here's the difference, right? I like this conversation, and we're talking about the Niners next, so it's all the same anyway. They'll flow into the next one.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan has low lows. 4-win season lows, 5-win season lows. He has low lows. Sirianni's lowest, though only 4 years to Chase's point. I'll try to play devil's advocate while I'm also trying to advocate for the Angels simultaneously. Nick Sirianni's lowest low
was last year.
Is when making the playoffs.
6 years.
It's making the playoffs. Yeah. So, I love Shanahan.
When did they lose 6 in a row last season?
It was a year that went whatever. Yeah.
Playoffs.
That's the lowest low. So the reason for me that Sirianni has now differentiated himself, if you asked me this question last year, I would have said Kyle Shanahan is the best or second best coach in football. He got a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And not only that, though, Kyle Shanahan's not in the AFC. He's in the NFC. We beat you and beat down your quarterback. And I've been to 2 Super Bowls since I got this head coaching job in the NFC, which means I got to go through you. And I won a Super Bowl.
And I won it.
You know what I'm saying? For me, he can't even be in the conversation with him. And if we said who's the better offensive play caller, that's a whole different conversation. As a head coach of a football team, to be honest with you,
one of the few
he
that
can't be in there with Nick Sirianni.
Which I actually agree with now. The way the game's going, to be a CEO coach is much more difficult to put your stamp on a team because you're not calling offensive plays and you're not calling defensive plays. So that makes what Sirianni has done that much more impressive.
And I think you would give him a little bit more credit if you knew a little bit more about the Eagles. Because when I say that, you always bring that back to he doesn't really call plays. He doesn't have a lot. And he is really involved.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm giving him his credit because I think it's harder to be a CEO-type coach and have success.
But what I'm saying is, if you sat down with Saquon, right, if you sat down with A.J. Brown, and even sat down with Jalen, they'll tell you he has a lot to do with the offense.
I think this year it'll be even more.
Because if you think about it, if you look at all the coordinators, they all are different, right? All the ones that Jalen Hurts had.
They all do a lot of the same stuff.
But when you come to Philadelphia, you do the same stuff. Because that lets you know that, that's not your offense, that's not your offense. That's Nick Sirianni's offense.
Good point.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So he doesn't get enough credit for having an influence on the offense.
Yep. And he doesn't get enough credit for moving on quickly. You know, some people let things linger if it's bad. Sirianni, Brian Johnson, you're not working out. Okay, we got to part ways. Sean Desai, defensive coordinator, I'm going to fire you in the middle of the season. Matt Patricia, you not working out, I'm getting rid of you too. And now I got Vic Fangio going on. Like, think about Sirianni. He don't do the stuff other coaches. They'll linger around with the bad OC for years and years. Ask Mike Tomlin. They'll linger around with bad OCs for year after year after year. And boys, like, hey, if it ain't working, you got to.
I think a key figure in that whole situation to be able to move on that fast is Howie Roseman doesn't get enough credit.
Of course.
But based on what he does, right? Like when Chip Kelly took over, he went, to the side and he's back on, and just the roster that Howie has given Nick and the way that Nick and Howie work together, it's
Can I just ask y'all a question really quick? Who's the worst team in football right now, or just throw a team out?
Question.
Raiders?
No, sir.
Raiders?
Jets,
Jets or Patriots,
Saints.
Patriots.
Okay,
Saints.
so let's say they both. Let's say the Saints. Let's just take the Saints.
The Saints.
No. Let's just say the Saints. All right.
Come on, man.
Nick Sirianni or Sean McVay, if they were on the Saints right now, who takes them further?
Ooh, Sean McVay.
Why?
Because I believe, Sean McVay offensively will take them further than the command.
I think Sean
is that basically you saying that McVay is a better coach?
Yes.
Who takes them
Nick
further?
Sirianni, sir. Because he's going to have a big influence on the offense, stuff they talking about.
It depends on who you hire.
And it's going to have something to do with the defense. Because we all talk about how Vic did so great of a job, right? I did watch Vic go to Miami and didn't look good.
Vic did a great job, too.
Vic did a great job.
I don't think so.
Are you trying to take the credit
I don't think.
away
Hold
from
on, hear me out for a second.
I'm hearing.
The same one that I seen Mahomes and them never have a problem with Vic. Never.
Yeah, Mahomes.
Can't wait. Well, hold on. Can't wait to play. Vic, you so good. Can't wait to play you.
Get to your point,
right?
JD. Get to your point.
But you come to Philadelphia, and he looked flawless. And we're going to give him all the credit. That's my thing. It's like, we're going to give him all the credit.
He calls the defense.
Yeah, and Nick Sirianni had nothing to do with that? You don't think?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think we're giving him too much credit with that.
Hold up. I think as a head coach, I think Nick, Kyle, Nick Sirianni got in that room, and let's talk, Vic. Let's talk, because you ain't just flawless.
I'm sure
because your career ain't just been flawless. You've been good, though. So let's sit down here and let's talk about this thing. Okay, that's what you want to do. This what I like to hear that. I don't like that.
So we giving Sirianni all the credit.
Well, I need you to answer.
But he gets some of that credit.
Answer that same question.
I was saying that because obviously my initial answer was McVay because of the offensive mind and all that McVay is. So I would take McVay, but I choose him as the best coach in the NFC. So I just wanted to see what you.
But you see how y'all only talking about offense?
No, I'm just.
Nick Sirianni has a lot to do with offense, but also with the defense part of things. He just said when things don't go right, we fire.
But even the last 2 years, McVay and the young defense has played well, and they made the
both of them dudes.
Not a lot of talent in the roster.
Hey, Vic been great. Well, he's been greater with the Eagles.
That's true.
Vic was great in San Francisco for those years. That was unbelievable.
It's been a long time.
He's been greater with the Eagles.
I'll say this. He's been greater with the Eagles. Last thing before you go, and if you ask Patrick Mahomes, he might not think so. And the Super Bowl, he didn't know who that coordinator was. Who the hell are you? I've been beating forever.
When we return, not only did Brock Purdy get paid, but the Niners paid All-Pro future first ballot Hall of Famer Fred Warner yesterday.
He deserved that.
Well, everybody in the Niners getting paid. Does that mean their dominance has officially returned? Will the Niners return back to dominance this year? Don't forget, check us out we got music every day.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV Insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV Insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
I expected the Niners to stay on top of the NFC West. They didn't. Last year, an atrocious season. But Fred Warner just signed a deal making him the highest paid linebacker in football, $21 million per year, $58 guaranteed. Before that, Brock Purdy, $265 million, $53 million a year, $181 million guaranteed. Shady, you said something interesting yesterday. It had to make it into the show. You said that the Niners, you didn't expect them to win a Super Bowl for a time after that. So, dare I ask you, do you expect the Niners to return to dominance, at least now that Fred Warner's signed?
First of all, Fred Warner is a beast. He deserves every coin he gets. Does. He probably should get a little bit more. You see the difference? When he gets paid, ain't no arguments. Did they pay too much? No, because he earns that. In the locker room, they all excited. About time, right? Yeah. But the Purdy is like, okay, it's a question mark. So I just want him to get his respect. But I don't see no, where's the dominance at? Because they were dominant because they had a really good coach, they had a really good roster, a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. Defense was dominant and very scary, and the offense was real physical and scary. They don't have that no more. And now you pay this quarterback all this money, and now it's like he's never really had to go out there and just, okay, we're going to follow me. It's always when we going to, Brock Purdy, don't you follow the team, and then you do your little part when we need you. Now it's changed, right? Now we hoping that Chris McCaffrey comes back to the elite player he was 2 years ago, but he's been injured. And if he's not out there, who are you going to depend on? Debo's gone. We need them big plays, right? You need something quick. Maybe a quarterback's not playing well. You need a screen out there. You need a reverse. You need a play, something quick to get going. You don't have that no more. So when I look at the Niners, like, what tells me they're going to be dominant? Because they used to tell me, yo, physical on defense and very, very stingy. You're not putting no points up against the Niners. You're not going to be able to run the ball against the Niners. Now you're doing both of them things, okay? I look at on offense. We can run it. We can throw it. We do whatever you want to do because we are so dominant. I don't see it no more. And that division they're in, was it AFC West?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, NFC West. I just think, man, there's every year the Niners are probably going to win this division easily. Now, are they even favorite? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So you talk about dominant, they don't have that dominant fear no more. And I think when guys play the Niners, it's going to be a regular game. Or before, you come in there like, okay, let's worry about all these different things. And the last part is, right, I'm not a big believer in the quarterback as leading his team. I think he needs to be around a team that has a lot of superstar players around him to be successful. Why do you say that, Shady? Because every time I've ever seen him successful, it's been around superstar players. And when the superstar players are gone, what did he do? Yeah. Just give me facts. So we're going to find out. But real quick, before anybody goes, I would love to take a wager on it. Because I'm not always right.
What's the wager?
I'm not always right. What's the wager? They're not going to NFC Championship game. That's over with.
Oh, not this year. No, not this year. No.
I mean,
I don't think they're going
to say playoffs.
As long as Purdy's the quarterback, bro, and that roster's not like that, they're not going to.
I disagree with that vehemently, man. I liked a lot of what Shady said.
He said, fire it out.
Fire it out, dude.
I'm going to find out.
Man, the history of the Niners suggests this. It's not if the Niners are going to get back to dominance, it's when. It's very simple. It's when, it's not at all if. Shady's right. The Niners aren't feared right now. They're not feared yet. But I got to remind y'all at home, like I had to remind myself, who was Fred Warner coming out of college, out of BYU? A third-round pick. Who was George Kittle out of Iowa? A fifth-round pick. Who was Brock Purdy out of Iowa State? A seventh-round pick. Who are all they now? Top 10 highest-paid quarterback, highest-paid linebacker, highest-paid tight end. It's not about where you start. With the Niners, it's ultimately all about where you finish. I didn't think Hufanga, a fifth-round pick, was going to be an all-pro safety. But he was. I didn't think Deebo Samuel, a second-round pick out of South Carolina, was going to be an all-pro receiver. But he was. I don't know what Mustafa's going to be. I don't know what Renardo Green's going to be. I don't know what Guerrero's going to be. I don't know what these individuals are going to be, but I didn't know what they were going to be, the other ones, when they showed up to San Francisco. These are the young Bulls last year. Ricky Pearsall, I don't know what he's going to be, but he still had 400 yards after getting shot last season.
Ooh.
Garendo had 420 rushing yards in minimal playing time, including, I believe, a 100-yard game. I don't know what these young Bulls are going to be, but I do know who's coaching them. Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan can always be trusted. Dre Greenlaw was a fifth-round pick. A fifth-round pick. He wasn't supposed to be all-pro. D. Winters, who he going to be? Probably going to be all-pro based upon what the Niners are doing and what they have always built. Shady said something interesting. He said, what tells me the Niners are going to get back to dominance? To me, it's not what, it's who. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan is who tells you. Robert Saleh is who tells you.
Real quick. So this one thing I did learn about, like, the league, right? So when you like, how do these good teams get formed? That's how it gets formed. So when you have some good players there, right? There's a couple good players there. Now you can add on to them. But when you have nothing really left, I got to fill all these holes. Look at the Eagles roster, right? How they had to fill a whole bunch of roles? They had really good players. You had some old good players in the line. You had some good players in the secondary, and now I can add to it. Yeah. They had to add to a lot here, right? And then and then the last part, you showing the rookies like, those ain't no stats.
No, but what it was is it's promise.
For sure, guys.
You know what I mean? Like,
you got to revamp your roster. So you got to rebuild your roster.
We're going to find out.
So really quick, because rosters are built on the second through sixth round.
Yes, sir. And that's where the rosters are built. That's where the Niners crush.
So you should hit on some of them picks. You should hit on some of them.
Hitting and all-pro is very different things.
Just get good starters.
Very different things, James Jones.
Okay, so you should hit on some of them picks.
Hitting and all-pro is different. They hit on you with the Packers.
Grand slam.
All-pro is like...
There is all-pro players, Pro Bowl players that was drafted in the second through sixth rounds on every roster.
Not this many, James Jones.
Okay, they might have two more. What they got them?
That's sizable.
Okay, cool. What has it gotten?
To the Super Bowl.
Loss, right? No championships.
To the Super Bowl.
So it has not really gotten them nothing.
Lost. Don't look at me.
Hold on really quick. Because the goal is to win Super Bowls, right?
That's what I thought.
They got there.
Are we thinking
James.
dominance is just winning Super Bowls, or are we thinking
Good
dominance
Lord.
of perennial playoff runs every single year?
Good Lord, help
Dominance?
us.
Then the only team that's dominant right now is the Kansas City
Jeez.
Chiefs.
And you're gonna put the Eagles in there.
They've won one.
And they've been to 2 of them.
But
It don't matter.
NFC
It don't,
Championship
Going don't matter.
Nah.
Going don't matter.
If you look at dominance,
They've been
like that,
dominant
there's
the
only
last
one
3
team.
years.
The Niners
There's
have
only
been
one
dominant
team.
the last 4 minus 1, James.
Yeah.
Woosah,
It depends
fix
on how
your
you
face.
do
Y'all
dominant.
kidding
Fix your
me.
face.
Dominance.
The Niners
Get your
have not won nothing. The answer's no. They have signed the same players that was on the roster. That's why ain't nobody up here take Shady Wager. Right.
NFC
Somebody asked me.
Right. Because they're not going to get back to dominance no time soon. And my time
They
is...
win 2 playoff games.
And my thing is I don't even know if Kyle Shanahan got time to get back to dominance. I don't know.
What do we say?
I really don't know because just like, I'm dead serious because just like you're saying, it's extremely hard to find these all-pro players in the field. So the odds say you ain't going to find no more all players.
Not for him. What I am saying is this, James Jones. Kyle Shanahan and the Niners probably do the best of any team drafting in rounds 2 through 6. They probably do the best of any team. Any team. They missed in the first round a lot. But, James, 2 through 6, all-pro. Their team is built on the back of 2nd through 6th round
And what
picks.
I'm saying is that 2nd to 6th round picks, them all-pros that you have drafted, right?
Yes, sir.
It's probably going to be hard to draft some more all-pro players like that is what you're telling me because that's what you're telling me it's hard.
I do not believe that.
And
Not for
even
the
with them
Niners.
luck of the draws that they've hit on, whether you want to give it to the coaches
They
or
were
not,
not
it
lucky.
has not equaled a
They
championship.
weren't lucky nor draws, and they've won multiple NFC championships. Multiple.
Oh, we're talking NFC
you done with your
championships now. Don't put your glasses on because we're talking NFC championships.
Look. Yeah, put them glasses on.
We ain't seen nobody post an NFC championship ring yet.
Yo, what NFC hat at? What NFC championship shirt at? What?
We ain't.
When James talks about dominance, it's just like winning Super Bowls. The only team that's just won Super Bowls
Getting there and winning them.
is Chiefs.
And
Okay?
Eagles.
Look.
And the Rams.
Let me
and
just
we can
answer
say
the
a couple
question.
teams.
Do I expect the 49ers' dominance to return? I don't think their dominance is left. Look at the last 6 years. 2019 Super Bowl, 2020 missed playoffs, 21 NFC Championship game, 22 NFC Championship game, 23 Super Bowl, 24 missed playoffs. Those missed playoffs, what Kyle Shanahan showed us, those are aberrations. Aberration is a departure from what is normal, usual, or expected, typically one that's unwelcome. And you look at the years they've missed the playoffs, they've been extremely hurt. I think Kyle Shanahan is way too good of a coach for them dominance not to return. And in fact, I don't even think it's left.
So you should have took the wager then.
Well, I'm just saying, a dominance, they can win 2 playoff games, and I'd be like, you know what, with this roster that they had in the first year, which should be a rebuild year because they trimmed a bunch of fat on the roster, that would continue dominance for me. I don't view dominance as just, because there's only one team. It depends on how you view dominance. Dominance, to me, is the Chiefs. The Eagles, if they get to the Super Bowl this year, dominant.
Wow.
Dominance. So for me, it's like, look at the track record of the coach, regardless of roster. Some have been hurt, some have been bad. When he's had a healthy roster with a quarterback that can play in his system, they have been dominant. They paid, and they've done it all sorts of ways. They paid Jimmy Garoppolo in 2018 for about 3 months in there. He was the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. And guess what? They went to the Super Bowl in 2019. Mm-hmm. So they've done it multiple different ways. I think Robert Saleh is helping too. I don't think their dominance is left. Just because you have a down year in 2 down years in 6 years, and you've been to 2 NFC Championship games and 2 Super Bowls, they're one of the most dominant franchises right now. I can't look at 1 year where everyone was hurt and say, this is not a good football team. I don't think they're ever going to get back. That's just not the case with Shanahan. Now, if you want to talk about winning Super Bowls, that's fine. That's a different thing.
Talk about that.
They're 0-3. He's 0-3 as 0-2 as a head coach, 0-1 as a coordinator. But when you look at dominance in the NFC has been run by the Eagles and the 49ers.
Where's this team going?
That's what I want. All this old stuff.
Well, I think it hinges on what Acho was saying. They drafted they have 18 rookies this year. They're going to need 4 or 5 starters out of there like they had last year. Those second-year players are going to have to pick up, and Brock Purdy's going to have to play well. If that's the case, then they can compete with the Rams. I don't know if they can win. Eagles are the Eagles, but I think they're second, third best team in the NFC. If they can do those things.
So saying all that you just said, you said a lot.
That's just television. You got the back. Go ahead.
So saying all that, Chase, all that you just said.
Yeah. What?
So these next 2 years, do you got them going to the NC Championship game?
Yes, I think they will. I think they'll get back.
Can we have a wager?
I'll bet $1.
Okay.
I don't really bet like that, you know me.
You bet enough.
You parlay in.
Bet enough.
I don't bet at all.
Well, let's do dinner.
I don't bet at all.
Let's do dinner.
He don't bet, though, Acho. Real answer, though.
Dinner with the homies.
Can you see Kyle Shanahan with this Niners roster as it is right now, whether you think he drafts all-pro player, can you see in the next 2 years of him getting back to an NFC championship?
With Brock Purdy as your quarterback.
It's two answers. The short answer, obviously, no. Based upon what you see now. But that, to me, is a lazy answer, and I'm not saying this for making TV. Genuinely, if we're being honest about what we know about the Niners, what we know about Shanahan, what we know about Saleh, assuming the players develop like Niners players under Shanahan and Saleh have historically developed, we have to assume, yes, because, James, I believe that the Punic, number 77, will mature into an all-pro caliber talent. I believe that Mustafa will mature into a Pro Bowler. I believe that Fred Warner will help the linebacker D. Winters play at a high level. Based upon the guys' names now as second-year players, obviously not. I'm not going to come up here and lie and say, oh, they got the all-pro talent right now. But in the same breath, I would have told you in 2019, I can't see the Niners getting back. If you were to tell me that Joe, number 74, left tackle for the Niners before Trent Williams got there. Joe Staley. If you were to tell me, man, Joe Staley out the door. Emmanuel Sanders going to move on. Richard Sherman's on his last leg. He going to move on. The running backs, if you would have told me that Raheem Mostert and all them dudes was out the door, I'd be like, ain't no way the Niners getting back. With the same Jimmy Garoppolo that Shady's saying, the Chiefs are saying, get him to third down, I would have said, no way they're getting back. But we didn't know that Trent Williams finna show up, CMC finna show up, Debo all of a sudden is going to go from a 600-yard receiver to a 1,400-yard receiver. So knowing real knowledge, I'd have to say yes.
So my quick answer, too, is, like, the Niners teams, when I think about dominance, and the Niners have had some really good teams, is if anybody got hurt on them Niners teams, including the quarterback in the past, the Niners was going to be all right. Just because they had so much. They were that much of a talented team. And to me, that's why they were able to accomplish what they have accomplished of getting the NFC championships and Super Bowls. They don't have that luxury no more.
At all.
Knock on wood, if anybody gets hurt, they don't have that luxury no more. And then not only that, if we're saying it's going to be 2 years because we don't know what these draft picks is going to be, how many more years Fred and Kittle got? That's a good question. At an all-pro level.
Good question.
So now when you get to the third and fourth year of this is our year, them boys is 4 years older.
It's called a rebuild, though. They're trying to win while they rebuild. It's the same thing.
It's going to be a tough rebuild.
It's the same thing that the Rams went through after they won the Super Bowl. And look at them, and everyone was like, who is that on defense? Who is that on defense? Like, we didn't know another one of the best
quarterbacks on a different
defensive
line.
Don't y'all think, and Shady, you were there. You were there, so you know this answer better than anybody. I think we are retroactively trying to upgrade how good the Niners teams were by talent. 2019, who was the so much the Niners had? Emmanuel Sanders? Who was the so much they had? A young George Kittle? Who was the so much they had? An old Richard Sherman? Raheem Mostert? Tevin Coleman? Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, who was this so much that they had? Fred Warner was a baby. Dre Greenlaw was a baby. Fred Warner's dreads ain't even hang. Like, who was this so much that they had? Like, we're retroactively acting like the Niners rolled out a bunch of Hall of Famers. In 2019,
it wasn't a bunch of Hall of
field.
Famers. They had a really good offensive. Go ahead.
I think at that time, because they beat the really good Packers team, right? Mm-hmm. That's why he knows about that. And they didn't throw the ball at all. They ran the ball. I think they had really good run scheme, right? I think that's when Kyle Shanahan really was, like, showing everybody how good of a coach he was, right? Because he just ran the ball the whole time with different looks, different formations, unbalanced line, bringing in extra linemen, taking out tight ends. He was doing his whole thing. And then defense-wise, they played well. They did play well. But I think we're at a different stage now. Now, because there's way more tape on you, right? So even with the Niners, you like, yo, they're going to run this ball and have different things. Well, I watched this year, they were stopping that. Okay, we're going to try to throw the ball. Well, this year I watched them stop that. So all I'm saying is there's more tape. There's more evidence on how to stop Kyle Shanahan. And another thing is, I feel like the talent part really matters because now when I have more talent, I don't have to do as much. So I feel like back then, when in that 2019, Kyle Shanahan had to do so much because the team wasn't as talented on offense. Mm-hmm. But now when you get on these guys, when you get Debo, then you got Ayuk, then you got McCaffrey, you got all these players, you got Trent Williams, I don't have to do as much. All I'm saying is, and it's nothing against Kyle because I think he's a great coach. I just think when I watch that team play from the last 2-3 years to right now, they are a whole entire different team. they don't even have no identity.
That's what happens when you're old and you have to rebuild. You have to
draft well.
That's a fair
answer, though. That's a fair answer.
And I think and another thing is
identity.
Another thing is I feel like, you know, sometimes when I would play games, right, teams are all like players will already be afraid of me. Not afraid, but just like respecting me. Yeah. So now when I'm coming up on you kind of. But there was some players that's really, really good, like rookies or year two. They didn't know who I was, right? Mm-hmm. Like Darwin James. I remember playing him. James. And Darwin James, really good safety, right? Mm-hmm. He knew, but he didn't really know me. And he was coming at me like he had no respect for me. You get what I'm saying? When I look at the Niners now and back then, the last 3 years, you look at them like respect. When they come to Philadelphia, we like, man, we got to worry about this. Now you look at it, we can't wait to play the Niners. Yeah. And I think that matters. That matters, though. That matters, bro. That matters.
Well, I know this much. In the Western Conference Finals, a lot of people can wait to play the Oklahoma City Thunder after they just dismantled the Nuggets in Game 7. But the T-Wolves, they got the matchup nonetheless. Ant-Man Edwards, maybe the face of the NBA. Shai, likely MVP winner this year. So who do we trust more in Game 1? Is it Shai? Is it Ant-Man? The game is here. Western Conference Finals is
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
The wait is over. It's already here. Ant-Man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Thunder, T-Wolves, they tip off tonight, Western Conference Finals. Ooh. And not only are the stars going to be watched, we got the stars joining us, NBA analyst, Slick Rick Bucher, the man to my left. If you're talking hoops, Slick better be in the building. Slick, starting with you because the wait is finally over. Yeah. Ant-Man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, tonight, who do you trust more in Game 1 Western Conference Finals?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And as much as I want to see a long series and an exciting series, I'm worried about this first game, in part because of this matchup between the two stars. When I look at how Ant has played in Game 1s in particular and in the playoffs in general, I just don't know what I'm going to get. I might get 43 in Game 1 like I got against Denver last year. I might get 18 like I got against Denver 2 years ago. And when I look at how he's played against OKC during the course of this season, it's not good. 36%, average 22 points. That's about 5 points below his average. And meanwhile, Shai, all around, may have played his best basketball against Minnesota more than any other team in the West, shooting 55% from three-point range, averaging 35, 7 and 7. So when I look at all of that, and there's also, it feels like Ant needs to, he kind of works his way into a series. Yeah. Like, first couple games, it's a little rough. He's kind of figuring things out. And then he hits his stride 3-4, and then who knows what we're going to get at the end. And Shai, I think his last 3 games have been 30-point games. He feels like he's hit his stride. So with all of that, I put my money on that I'm going to get a great performance out of Shai first.
Yeah, I'm with you wholeheartedly. I think it's Shai. For a couple reasons of Slick, we mentioned off camera, we've talked about. Shai knows what he wants to do, and he knows how to do it, and he's committed to doing it more than I would suggest any player remaining in basketball. Shai knows I'm either going, if I'm driving left, I'm keeping the ball low, I'm going to draw a foul, I'm going to flop, and I'm going to get to the free throw line. If I'm right, I'm getting to the right mid-range, elbow and below, and I'm probably shooting a fadeaway to make sure my shot does not get blocked. Like, Shai knows what he wants to do. He knows how to do it, and he's committed to doing it more than any other player in basketball. It's not to say that Ant's not more talented or better, but I was thinking about it like this, Slick, Shady, James, it's almost like how I think about Denzel Washington and the roles he selects versus like a Will Smith. Denzel's going to get into his pocket. Denzel, man on fire, I can see it. John Q, I can see it. Equalizer, I can see it. But wait a second, Will Smith, you did like After Earth, then you did iRobot. Then you did 7 pounds. Then you did A Pursuit of Happiness. What role are you playing? Yeah. And Ant-Man, that's what I see when I see him at the court is like, what role are you playing? I don't know if Ant knows how to get to his pocket. is Shai knows how to get to his pocket. And sometimes you want to shoot 11 3-pointers. Game 5 versus the Lakers and you go 0 for 11. Some games you want to shoot 3 3-pointers and you want to drive to the cup. Yeah. Some games you want to beat the first man, then you want to shoot a pull-up fadeaway. Some games you want to beat the first man, you want to yam on the second man. What role are you playing? Yeah. Is this iRobot? Is it Pursuit of Happiness? But Denzel always in the pocket. Shai, to me, always every game in the pocket. That's why I trust Shai, because he trusts himself, I believe, more than Andy.
Yeah, and I'm going with Shai, too, and obviously it's two special basketball players, but I'm going with Shai strictly just because the consistency. And we talking about during the regular season and into the playoffs now. He's just been consistent. You know exactly what you're going to do. I'll never forget, man, when I was in college, my coach was like, boy, you got way more talent than all these dudes. You mossing people, jumping over people, breaking tackles and all that, but you're going to be sitting right here next to me because I can't trust that you know what you're doing. We call this play, you MA. You know what I'm saying? As good as you are. Look like Tarzan, look all that. But you don't know what you're doing. He said, then I get fired. I can't put you in the game. Yeah. I don't know what ant I'm getting. Just like you guys, I do not know what ant. I could get the ant that was pushing against LeBron from the full court, ready to go get buckets. Or I can get this ant that don't show up to the basketball game and he gonna give me 18, and I know that Shai consistently gonna give me 30 and make everybody around him better. So I'm gonna go with Shai in this one right here, even though Anthony Edwards probably gonna have something to
Maybe
say.
Shai as well, I'm sure. I should probably just take it to break. Shai.
I'll go to break. You know, y'all say a lot of things.
Sweep.
You got to movies, right? You got to the future and the past, right?
The future and the past.
And you got a little bit of both of that, right? I'm going with faith. I'm going with Ant-Man. I don't know which I've been watching. I watched one team have a whole battle against the Nuggets. I guess that don't matter in basketball. You know, I think it does. Aaron Gordon just said, Lynn, I think that the NBA should change the rules a little bit and give these players some time, some break time, right? Because you get a better production. Well, Ant-Man been chilling a little bit. I've been watching. I've been resting, right? I've been working on my 3-ball. I've been working on my dunk. I've been working on all that. I'm just going to do this, man. I think at the highest competitors that we've seen in the playoffs so far, Ant-Man's probably number 1 or number 2. And I think he's taking on this challenge. I think he knows if I'm going to beat this Thunder's team, I got to get ahead of it. I got to. And another thing is, I always feel like as players, going somewhere and failing and then getting back to that same spot, you don't fail as easy. That means he been here last year. This is my second go-around. Last year I lost to the Mavericks, okay? I'm back here again. And I think a player over there is better than me. They asked, I think if Steve asked me, say, hell, you know, a lot going on. LeBron mentioned, you know, the young stars are in great hands. Well, who is it? It's me, SGA, and Luka. How you feel about that? You know what he said? I love it, because I'm the best player. And one thing I know about Ant-Man,
he gonna have that confidence.
Every time he got to show out and show up, he always does. If you ask me before the year started, last year, would they go to the West Conference Finals? No, they did that. This year, would they? No, they did that. So, y'all can go with the SGA if y'all want to, because the regular season, he was the MVP. He deserves that.
You know what?
Whole other level.
Because I didn't think there was a case to be made.
Me neither.
And,
He didn't make it.
And I still don't. Man, you made as much of one as you possibly can. Let me give you one more.
Whoa. Before you go real quick, I'll just say this real quick. No, just real quick. Tonight when they play, y'all won't be surprised if SGA's going off and Ant-Man say, yo, I got it.
Not at all.
Of course not.
Okay. Okay.
That
has nothing to do with the question. But
Yeah, it do. Yes, it does. I'm going to go to it later. Go ahead, Slick. Go ahead now.
Yeah, it would mean that SGA is going off, though, right? Which is what we're predicting.
All right.
No, here's the other predictor for past being future is it was good shade. Take your flowers.
All right, now.
Is the fact that I look, to your point, Denver gave OKC a fight.
Yes, they did.
They just came off of Game 7. They know they're in the playoffs. I just get the sense that the T-Wolves, because they had 2 gentlemen sweeps, are of the mind that they are playing great basketball. And we talked about this off air.
That's a good point, too, though.
Like, they're playing 38, 39 minutes of quality basketball. And then there's 9 minutes where you go, do you guys know you're in a playoff game? This ain't an exhibition.
Yeah.
And that worries me because OKC couldn't take their foot off the pedal against Denver.
Can we talk about that for a moment? If y'all remember the end of the T-Wolves Warriors Game 5, T-Wolves, it's over. finish it. But the game, I couldn't turn the game off because the Warriors kept coming back with no one out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Pajemski were keeping them in the game. Gary Payton Jr. was trying to keep them in the game. Buddy Hield was trying to keep them in the game. Draymond Green is hitting top of the key threes, trying to keep them in the game. Against the Denver Nuggets, the Thunder didn't have that luxury. Right. They would have lost. Thunder had to play literally, like you said, every single minute of meaningful basketball. T-Wolves were playing with their food and got away with it. There's a world where that gets them.
And not only that, if they do that, they're going to get smoked.
Yeah.
Because OKC goes on runs and they score 30 in 7 minutes. They are going to, especially in OKC, they are going to get smoked. If they don't play the whole game, they're going to lose this series. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep if they don't play the whole game. Anthony Edwards got to show up.
Hey, some new breaking news out of Cleveland. Don't know if y'all saw it. A report suggests that the Browns will have as open a quarterback competition as possible with the 4 quarterbacks, Flacco, Gabriel Pickens, and Shedeur Sanders. With that being said, something you rarely ever hear about in sports, do we expect Shedeur to start sooner? That's next.
The facilities.
The NFL, Shedeur Sanders. Now, obviously, we talk about Shedeur ad nauseum, but this one is interesting. Viewers at home, don't click away. I found this fascinating, and you rarely ever hear of this. Shedeur, he signed his contract yesterday. That's not the fascinating part. Fascinating part is this. Browns staff report says they'll try a 4-way quarterback competition with Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, 3rd-round pick, and Shedeur Sanders. They said they're going to try to make it as fair and as efficient as possible. Thus far, our takes since the draft the last 3 weeks have suggested Shedeur's not going to have a shot to get to be the starter. I was a 6th-round pick. Chase was undrafted. We know from firsthand experience, if you're drafted in the 4th round or later, you're instantly running with the 2s. More often than not, even the 3rd round or later, you're more likely running with the 2s. Though Shedeur is probably going to still be running with the 4s, the coaches suggested there's going to be a fair opportunity for everybody. So, James, does that change your opinion? Do you expect Shedeur to start sooner now?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely changes my opinion. I expect Shedeur to go in this game real early, especially depending on how he looks in the preseason. Because basically what you're saying is that you don't have one. Yeah. That's basically what you're saying. Right now, as we enter into training camp, we don't have a bona fide starter. This is an open competition. I ain't never, ever heard this. Yeah. Walking into a training camp, 2 dudes going here and 2 dudes going. No, bro, you with the 1s, you with the 2s, you with the 3s, and if you don't like it, work your way up there. That's usually how it goes. So to start off by even saying this before training camp even opens lets me know that we're letting you know, Kenny Pickett, we're letting you know, Joe Flacco, that, hey, ain't nothing guaranteed, homeboy. Dylan Gabriel, you 3rd round, we understand, but ain't nothing guaranteed. And it's also letting Shedeur know, just because you might be starting with the 4s on the depth chart, don't mean you got to stay there, dog. Usually, if you're a 5th rounder, especially at quarterback, you usually got to stay there. You don't have to stay there. This is an open competition. I believe if he balls in preseason, he's going to have a true opportunity to get into this game. And not only that, I think a lot of the quarterbacks that do start is going to be on a very short leash if you do not play well, which means the next quarterback is going to get an opportunity. I can see Shedeur starting sooner, man. This is going to be interesting right here. This is going to be real interesting.
I'm not going to gospel. I hate to say, I told y'all so. When you talk about these quarterbacks, I say, yo, they're a room full of unproven starters. And I know Shedeur's a 5th rounder, but they all like kind of 5th rounders. The coach, I've been playing football for long. I've never heard a coach say,
I ain't never heard this.
Yeah, man, the 5th rounder, the 3rd rounder, the old 40-year-old quarterback, and then the younger quarterback, y'all all going to split reps.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how they're
doing. Think about that, though, for a second, though. Think about what that sounds like. The 5th round draft pick, the 3rd round draft pick, the starter, the old starter, and then I guess the trading quarterback, that would be Pickett. Y'all all going to split reps? Yeah. Huh?
I don't know.
And y'all telling me Shedeur might not start sooner than later? Man, okay.
This changes.
I told you he might.
This changes my answer completely. Yeah. If they are being honest, if they're being sincere, if they're being genuine, and we obviously know coaches lie a lot. I've been lied to, James been lied to, Chase been lied to. Hopefully Shady hasn't.
Wait, real quick. Now, they do lie, but you're not about to waste no time to lie about no 5th and 3rd round draft pick. Well, you got a whole team to worry about.
I think lie about perception, right? I think the Titans lied to us when they said they viewed Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter and Shedeur Sanders as the number one overall picks. I think the Titans lied to us. I think they were lying. I think people lied to us. I know I've been lied to. Hey, Acho, can you make sure you get a fair shot? I remember Chip Kelly told us that the worst lie, most egregious lie I've ever heard, well, two from Chip, but the most egregious lie I heard from Chip after the last day of practice and camp. He said, hey, everybody, turn all your uniform and your equipment stuff in, all your Eagles gear in. We're going to wash it, get it right back to you. I'm like, no, Chip, you're cutting half the team, and you don't want them to leave with the stuff. Like, coaches, they water down the truth. I get it. This is what they do. It was my fourth year in the league, so I know how it goes by now. It's like, hey, wash it. Our equipment guys, you're Greg and the equipment guys, we're going to wash it, get it right back to you. I'm like, Chip, you're lying. Anyway, coaches can lie. Assuming this is true, though, yeah, Shedeur's going to start much sooner. I think I had Shedeur starting after the bye, week 10. I believe now he starts week 6. Assuming this is true, I think Shedeur enters the season as the number 2 overall quarterback instead of the number 3 or the number 4 overall quarterback. Assuming this is true, I believe that Shedeur is the second most talented plus potential quarterback on the roster. So, assuming this is true, it completely changes Shedeur's runway, completely changes Shedeur's path, completely changes everything. If this is true, but again, viewers at home understand that if contingency is gigantic. But if it's true, it changes everything.
Just take me through the quarterback situation you said. So if it's true, you think Shedeur starts season as quarterback 2. What's the?
I still fervently believe Joe Flacco is going to start the season. Me personally, right?
Yeah.
I think Kenny Pickett likely gets dealt. He makes the most sense. He has the highest trade value.
I was wondering what you were.
And I think Shedeur beats out.
You think he gets traded?
Yeah, I think Pickett gets dealt.
Joe's cut.
I don't want to get.
We don't want to get into that. Look, for me, I don't know. It definitely changes. I'm just trying to figure out like what the Browns are doing, because we talked about this in the pre-show. It's like, all right, so what they're doing is they have 4 quarterbacks. So cut that in half. It's 2. And they were saying that 2 quarterbacks are going to split reps with the ones one day, and 2 quarterbacks are going to split reps with the 2s
and the 3s
one day. And I'm just like, okay, and I think it's a great opportunity for Shedeur. You know why? I've never heard of this. Mm-hmm. And I played for a lot of different teams over 14 years. We've never done that. It's been the 1s get this, the 2s get that, the 3s get that. Yeah. And I think, and I said this, I said bye week as well. I don't know if he starts sooner because, in my opinion, like, they drafted Dylan Gabriel ahead of him. And I think they feel some type of way to give Dylan a chance to go out there and win the job. And I sort of agree with maybe what the Browns are doing here. And I said it a couple weeks ago. I said, I think they should probably let Shedeur and or Dylan play sooner rather than later to give them a good bit of the season to show the Browns what they are about. Because let's be honest, when you draft a guy in the 3rd round, you draft a guy in the 5th round, it's not going to preclude you from drafting a guy next year to be the number 1 overall pick. They have 2 first-round picks next year. So I do think it's smart for the Browns to be able to do that. However, it's like when you look at Joe Flacco and you look at Kenny Pickett, like where do they expect these guys to take them? Do you think they're going to take them to the playoffs? And if you are, you probably need to roll with him. If you're not, then you need to give the rookies, plural, a chance to like go out there and prove like what they are and how they are. Because let's be honest, and we've talked about this a lot, next year's quarterback class, from what I've studied early, it's going to be a lot better than this year's. The Browns have 2 first-round picks that they can be aggressive to go up and get someone if the rookies don't work out.
All right. How long have you been playing in the NFL?
I played 9 years.
Chase, you like
14.
4 of them. 4.
So that's a lot of years here, right? We ain't never heard this before. Never. You know why? Because you drafted a first-round quarterback in the 5th round. That's the truth of it. You try to teach him a lesson, now it backfired. Because the 3rd-round quarterback, we try to be respectful. Chase trying to be respectful. I get it. You're a quarterback and all that, and I get all that. But we know he's not better than Shedeur. We know what the team knows, the player knows. We know that. And we know that Shedeur is going to pass him real quick, right? But we got to do the steps. So let's just get Gabriel out the way, because we're not even going to talk about him like we did before the draft. Number 2 is, what the hell a franchise say the 5th-round quarterback, the starter, and then a guy we traded for, a young guy we traded for that was a former first-rounder, they going to split equal reps as a starter? When have we ever heard of that?
Never heard of that.
And you know why? Because it's never been a situation like this, where a first-round quarterback You want to prove a point to him, make the kid humble, bow down, kiss the ring, right? And now you want him to play. That's what's going to happen. Because now you are in a room with quarterbacks that's not proven. Now you're in a room with 5th round, 3rd round, 5th round, 4th round type talent quarterbacks in the room. And the best one is going to win it out. So I said it earlier before we even got to this point. Hey, I think Shedeur's going to start a little earlier. Now when the proof comes out, because I heard you saying coaches lie. What's what coaches don't do, though? Coaches are not going to waste their time to address the media and the whole entire team about lying about a 5th and 3rd round draft pick. Because really, for real talk, they don't really matter in the NFL. Okay? So hold on, James. So knowing all that, they're not going to make that up. And now that we have the evidence that it's going to be an equal, fair playing field with Shedeur Sanders and all the other guys in that room, the writing's on the wall, James.
Number one, I don't know why lie. Because if you lie, it's just going to put more attention on yourself.
That's right.
I think you come out, you say, listen, man, Shedeur got a lot of work to do. He's going to start off with the 4s, and he got to work his way up. We'll see how he looks in preseason. That's to help you so I don't got to stand up here every day and answer questions on the podium about who the starting quarterback and the rotations and all that. Now you coming out saying this, oh, we going to have 2 dudes going here, 2 dudes going there. That instantly lets me know that we don't have a guy that we trust and believe in.
That's right.
We know we're not going nowhere with Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco be the odd man out. I think Kenny Pickett's still extremely young, and he was a first-round quarterback.
Yes, he was.
So the bonus of starting him is, wow, if we can get this dude to be good and he's still young and he was a first-rounder, we got lucky. And then we have 2 solid young players behind him to back him up. But for the viewers, the way training camp works, and we all been in training camps, right? I've been in training camps to where the ones, we take the first 2 reps.
That's all I did.
With Aaron Rodgers, we take the first 2 reps, and that's it. At the end of the training camp practice, we ran on our own because we ain't practiced that much in Green Bay. Because we was a no-huddle offense and we was rolling. We didn't practice that much. Then the coach would have on there, hey, man, this day you with the 2s, homeboy. Tomorrow you with the 3s. You gonna be with the 2s the next day. And we like, ooh, it's a competition right there. Ooh, who gonna ball? We knew that.
That's true. That is true.
We knew,
that's
hey,
true
that
now.
4th, 5th receiver. Hey, ooh, it's a competition right there. Yeah, he with the 2s today. You see him. He with 2. So that starting training camp like this,
this is
it's wide open, bro. Shedeur has an opportunity to start, dog.
Yeah,
he does.
He does, but this is OTAs. And OTAs is different than training camp. If this situation lends itself to training camp, then I think it's a completely different situation. Because if they're doing this in training camp,
I think it's opposite though.
Then I think that he has a chance to start.
I think. Go ahead, Acho, but doing it right now,
I'm about to say real quick. I'm about to say, if you do it, no.
My opinion is
but Chase, I would say it means more if you did it in training camp. Let's see what's going on. You doing it early. Let's just get this thing out the way. Let's find out who our guy really is now. So they doing it earlier to see who it is.
It's a glorified walkthrough practice.
But before I forget this, though, before I forget this, you've never been in this situation as a backup quarterback to where you coming into the situation and they like, listen, man, you're going with the 1s this day, you're going with the 1s and open. You probably been in situations to where you knew.
I've been in a situation.
This dude is starting, and this is what it is behind him.
I was in a situation to get some reps with the 1s in Philly for.
So take us through that.
Well, it was one day, and then they knew they were trading Sam Bradford and they drafted Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? So
that's different though.
But
what if they said, Chase? Yo, listen. Everybody, ain't no trades. Everybody's here right now.
Yeah,
right. And we gonna and I don't know what role you was as far as like 1, 2, or 3, but listen, you in a chance to start, dog.
I've seen it. So it happened in Philly. I didn't see it at Q, but it happened in Philly at the linebacker position because we were in a dilemma. After we traded Shady for Kiko Alonso, the problem was this: we had D'Amico Ryans on the team, we had Michael Kendricks on the team, we had Kiko Alonso on the team. We're a 2-linebacker starting team. We drafted Jordan Hicks in the 3rd round. So that was one of those training camps where it's like, all right, this day, hey, Kendricks, you're up with Miko. Next day, Kiko, you're up with Miko. Next day, Kiko, you're up with Kendricks. Next day, Kiko, you're up with Acho with the 2s. Next day, Kiko, you're up with Hicks with the 2s. Next day, Hicks, your 3rd-round pick, you're going to run with Miko today. I've seen it never at Q, but when it is a completely open, just competition, I've seen, like, you take 1.
So you saying that they did it because they were trying to figure out.
They were trying to figure things out.
100% who could start.
And imagine doing it with the quarterback.
Exactly. Exactly.
On,
to me, it means something. It means something. Yeah. Hey, what means more than anything is
he on his way.
The acquisition the Cowboys had of new wide receiver George Pickens. Hey, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, they intend to be the best duo in all of football. But can the quarterback, Dak Prescott, keep 2 very loud receivers by play and sometimes by talk? Can he keep them happy?
What are you talking about, man?
Dak Prescott has acquired one new wide receiver, but a whole new look offense. You got CeeDee Lamb, but they acquired George Pickens, an absolute phenom. But listen to Pickens and CeeDee Lamb talk about who's the real number one.
Oh, no, we both won.
Yeah.
It ain't no A, B, none of that. It's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
Hey, are they both number one receivers? They say they both ones. Not one A, not one B, not one two.
Yeah.
James Jones, just speak on it.
I love it. I mean, it is true facts. You do look over there, you see one. You do look over there, you see another one. Listen, man, this is going to be a big-time duo. Dak Prescott, this should be easy, man. I seen Aaron Rodgers make 5 people happy.
Yeah.
James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Greg G. Bruh, 7-8 targets a game ain't hard. You do not have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. It's not like you're about to hand it off to somebody 40 times a game. The ball is going to be in your hands. Give George Pickens some opportunities to go make plays, and obviously CeeDee Lamb will get his opportunities. But giving these dudes 6-7 targets a game, that's extremely easy for them, and it should be more.
But is that enough, right? CeeDee Lamb, I think, had 184 targets, if I'm not mistaken, his all-pro year. 6-7 targets ain't going to make CeeDee happy.
But not only that,
10,
number one, it
targets.
depends on the targets, right? Because now they're going to have to play you different. I'm not going to see a lot of double teams. I'm going to see a lot of one-on-ones because number 14 is over there. So the targets that I'm getting now is going to be some easier catches. So if you're a receiver and you leave the game with 7-8 catches, that's a great game. You're not walking out of the game every game. And when you play fantasy football, I'm sure, you'd be like, man, he ain't do nothing, he had 3 catches. So if you have a good game, 7-8 catches a game for a receiver is a great game. If these dudes get 7 to 10 targets a game, which is very, very easy, they are going to have some catches. That is not hard for Dak Prescott, man.
A good season for Dak and these two receivers would be what? 1,400 yards, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 1,000 yards each is fine, 6 touchdowns each. You need a 1,500 yard. What's a good season for both?
10 touchdowns apiece, 1,000 plus. If Dak Prescott can get both these dudes double-digit touchdowns, because touchdowns is hard to come by. If he can get them both double-digit touchdowns and they both have 1,000-plus yards, that's a great season by Dak Prescott with these two.
Is Dak capable of doing, last question, what Joe Burrow did last year with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins? They both got to 10, they both 8, but it was because of Joe. Do you think Dak Prescott's capable?
I absolutely believe Dak Prescott could do that because it's the same. It's not going to be hard to get these dudes the ball. If you watch Jamar Chase last year, Joe did do well, but Jamar Chase was catching hitches, getting busy.
That's a really good point.
T. Higgins was jumping over the top of people's heads. That's the same duo. Can jump over your head, and George Pickens can break tackles and get busy.
Phenomenal point. Hey, speaking of getting busy, Jalen Brunson has done that in the NBA playoffs. If you win a championship in New York, in any sport, Yankees with Jeter, Giants, Eli Manning, you become a hero. Legendary. Can Brunson be the face of the NBA by doing the same thing? Maybe the most debated conversation in all of sports right now, the most pertinent, and who's going to be the next face of the NBA. We're living in an era where LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry are no longer even in the playoffs, let alone playing at their peak. Enter in Jalen Brunson, bringing the Knicks to a championship and the opportunity to win one for the first time since 1973, now sitting in the Eastern Conference Finals. I have the man to my left. Y'all are in for a treat because to answer this question, you need to be a student of the NBA, of which there is no one better than Rick Bucher. Rick, Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks, fearless leader, most clutch player. Can Brunson be the face of the NBA?
Absolutely he can. Absolutely he can. Now, is he going to be a little bit different than what we've traditionally seen? Because we've always seen, by and large, when you think of faces of the league, they've always, you think of Jordan, right? You think of dynamic, electric players. And Jalen is not that from a physical standpoint. But he is a guy that you look at and go, that's a bad man.
Yes.
And when the game is on the line, he's going to figure out a way to get to his shot, and it's impressive in how he does it because he's undersized. I also think he's relatable. I think he has a little bit of that Steph Curry element of he's the little guy who can. And that kind of storyline, I mean, I know where Shady's preferences lie, and yet he can't deny, man, I like that Jalen Brunson.
One of my favorite players.
There's something about him you just love. Now, when I add that to the fact that relatively clean-cut image, no off-the-court issues, right, is in the biggest market that the NBA has, I have no question that the league would love to get behind him. And then you just think about, here's this little guy who comes along, And he brings the first championship to the New York Knicks in 52 freaking years.
That's big.
Like, that's a storyline that everybody can get behind. And so it may not be traditional, but the fact is, we have a vacuum right now. They're looking for someone to step into that. And if Jalen Brunson finds a way to be Mr. Clutch and brings a championship to New York City, man, they're going to roll out the red carpet. Come on and be our face, because we can get behind this.
Oh, I can't get behind that take at all.
I can't, Slick. I can't either, man.
I can't get.
And I love Brunson, but I can't either.
Here's the dilemma. I'll give it to you.
I'm like peeking through the
You
curtain.
guys are all gangsters. You guys are all straight up gangsters. Because the whole time I was talking, you were all like this. Yeah. And then as soon as I was done, I was like, no.
Mama always called me pumping friends up now. Pumping friends up.
I'll make it simple, Slick. I'll make it simple. Jalen Brunson's game, Josh Hart's personality, face of the NBA. If you can give me Brunson's game with Hart's charisma, with Hart's humor, with Hart's galvanization of the media, face of the NBA. Brunson is as boring as paint on a wall that's already dry.
Dang, you did it.
Can't be the face. Post-game, the Knicks are going to the conference finals for the first time in maybe 2 decades. I believe it's Lisa Salters going to the podium, and Jalen Brunson could not have been more stoic. He could not have been more boring. He could not have been more dry. I was happier for the Knicks than Jalen Brunson was, and I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm watching that like, bro, this was so anticlimactic. It was so anticlimactic. Y'all just wanted a chip. Even if you're not happy, fake it. Smile. Do something. And I know Knicks fans might like that and might be partial to that, and maybe from a leadership perspective it's great. But from a galvanization perspective, it was horrible. I was so unexcited for the Knicks after watching Jalen Brunson's interview, because viewers at home, they reflect what they see on TV. If we're laughing, y'all are probably laughing. If we look like we're not getting along, y'all are probably like, ugh, they don't get along. If we're excited, y'all are excited. Brunson was so unexcited, I was like, oh, maybe I'm tripping. Oh, we're not excited yet? Knicks just won. Oh, my bad. Excuse me, Brunson, my bad. I don't think he has the personality to be the face of it.
Brunson say job not finished. Job finished?
Yeah, but he didn't even say that. He didn't even say that. If he would have said, hey, nothing to be excited about. We ain't got it done yet. We got to bring a chip. I'll be like, oh, okay, let's get it going then.
So I love Brunson on. Like right now, he's one of my favorite players. I love the game is on the line and ball's in his hands. It's the reason why he's the clutch player of the year, because he is that good. And the journey of him and his father, I love all that. Father pushed him to exhaustion. He keep going, and now look at him. So I love him as a superstar, but he can't be the face of the league. You know why? Because he don't really want to. He wants to play ball. I want to be a ball player, right? An interview, I ain't really smiling. I ain't really got no jokes. We win the game, it's a hard-fought game. Move on to the next thing. That's who he is. You ever see his podcast? His podcast, he has him and Josh Hart.
Yeah.
And he just talks sports. He's just cool. There's no personality, there's no smiling. And if you're not going to be dunking over dudes, maybe some tattoos, maybe something to even talk about other than sports, how can you really be the face? See, Ant-Man, everybody can relate to, right? He opens his mouth up, he lights the room up. I think Brunson is just a straight ball player. There's nothing wrong with that. For example, right? You ever just hear him just talk? Brunson, you just hear him just talk? You know, you really don't even hear him talk. He has a little commercial with 3 of the Villanova guys. They're not even saying much. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think that when you talk about being the face of the league, it got to be something more about you. I'll give you last point. Jason Tatum. There should be no reason why he should be the face of the league. Accolades, superstar, clean image off the court, good look, everything you need, he has. But he don't have that it factor, though. Yeah. Right? He don't have that thing that appeals to everybody. Yeah. And that's why he can't be the face. So when you talk about the face of the league, it got to be more than just putting some stats up.
Yes. It's like I'm another one that's against you. Go ahead.
Can we say, though, that if you were picking between Jalen Brunson and Jason Tatum in terms of candidates to be the face of the league,
I gotta go.
Jalen Brunson has more than Jason Tatum.
They like the same for real, though.
But I believe that Jalen has the it factor on the court. Like you,
he does.
You
he
believe,
does. Yeah, he does.
This dude, I don't know how he gets it done, but he gets it done. And Jason does get it done at times, but you don't feel that same presence on the court.
You know, it's just hard for me to go with Brunson, and I lean towards Anthony Edwards because, I mean, you said Michael Jordan. I believe I could fly. Space Jam. Everybody want to be. And then you go to the king. And then now we go to Brunson. Like, just you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I'm like, you got MJ, you got Bron, and I'm sure it was other people that was the face of the league. Anthony Edwards has everything it takes to be the face of the league. My man can shoot the ball. My man can dunk. My man talks junk. My man has the personality. My man is competitive. He competes. Everything you want in the face of the NBA, that's what Ant has.
Smile,
I don't know how they go away from Ant, especially if he gets to the finals and people get to see him on this big stage, and he already got 1,000 commercials, people singing his commercials, kids got his shoes, and I don't know how you go
He told the president, right, Rob, he said, hey, you better step down, them boys know the truth. Who's talking like that? And they brought Bron over and KD over. He said, yeah, bring him over. He said, them boys know.
And
they said,
yeah,
man, the truth. Like, we love that, though. We love that. Slick.
You guys changed the question.
No.
That's the face of the league.
We were debating Ant versus Jalen. We were saying, could Jalen?
Well, we said no.
I said no because of
Ant. We gave you no. We said a guy like Ant should be.
But if Jalen wins the title this year,
I still don't think
Ant has not.
But I don't think. I still don't think strictly because.
So then,
of the
are we not going? So then we won't have. We still won't have a face of the league.
I mean, but Jason Tatum just won a championship. They don't matter. I'll give you a point. The only time you see Brunson is on basketball games, right? You go to social media, TikTok, you gonna see Ant everywhere.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? That's a face. You everywhere. When we sell our sport, when we sell it to the country, to the world, we got to use you because you're great on the court and you're great off the court.
You know, this may be very old school for me, but the idea that I would have a face of the league who is just about basketball feels kind of refreshing to me at this point.
Yeah,
like I'm kind of oversaturated by constantly having someone everywhere doing everything. If you give me just a solid basketball
them days over with those slick.
Cares about you may be right.
They had little shorts back then when that was going on.
But there's something kind of refreshing about
the shorts is longer now.
Yeah.
Hey, when we return, Nick Sirianni, not only did he win it all last year,
we love Nick.
He was awarded a new contract. Is it fair to finally suggest he's the best coach in Eagles history? I got Shady in a binder.
Why you trying to start beating right now?
On this one.
Joker's up here.
Hey, let's get to a fascinating conversation. Nick Sirianni and Andy Reid, two of the most notable coaches in Philadelphia Eagles history. They just faced off in the Super Bowl, and Nick Sirianni came out victorious, bringing the Eagles their second Super Bowl win ever. Nick Sirianni been in Philadelphia for just 4 years, had 2 Super Bowl appearances, and now been rewarded with a contract extension. Andy Reid, though he may be the greatest coach of all time in NFL history, is it fair to suggest, Shady, that Nick Sirianni is the best coach in Eagles history? Is Sirianni the best?
Why are you doing this to me? What do you want from me? We want the answer, sir. We want the answer.
Andy Reid. Yeah.
Andy Reid, what about him?
He's the best coach of all time. He's the best coach of all time, the Philadelphia Eagles. I love what Nick Sirianni is doing, but let's just break it down for a second. So when Andy Reid got to the Eagles in 99, they were not good.
No.
They didn't have nobody really there. He had to revamp that whole team, right? So they lose the first year, right? I think they won like 5 games. Cool. Bad start. But then he goes on a little run, right? He goes 11-5, 11-5, 12-4, 12-4, 13-3. Wow. So you went from terrible suck in your first year to let's roll. And then they say, well, Shady McCoy, who they have on the squad? Let's go to it. Now, when you look at a team that does well, now normally they have some Pro Bowl players, some All-Pro players, right? Some of the best players in the league. That's what All-Pro is. All-Pro is you're one of the best players in your position in the whole entire league.
Yeah.
Okay. 2021, they had one All-Pro. His name is Brian Dawkins. He played defense.
He was good.
They went 11-5. Okay. 2002, they went 12-4 that year. They had no All-Pros.
Oh, wow.
Okay. 2003, another one, no All-Pros, 12-4. 3 Pro Bowlers. And then 2004, it's a young man by the name of Terrell Owens. He came apart. And then when he came there, they went to the Super Bowl. So he went to 4 NFC Championship games with 1 All-Pro, 0 All-Pros, 0 All-Pros, and 3 All-Pros. And that's with Terrell Owens.
Donovan McNabb was never an All-Pro?
Hey, man, he was one of them years, but not these years.
Oh, okay.
That's not my years. So stop with this take. When I think about being a coach of a team, now I never dim the light on a coach if your team is loaded up. But what I will do, I will uplift your light if you have no superstar players. I mean, you really watch the Eagles team, they didn't have that. And he still was rolling them out, winning games. Out of them 4 or 5 years, James Jones, Yo, they were the number 1 team in the NFC East. Yeah. So we went in the division with no All-Pros or 1 All-Pro. That matters to me.
Yeah.
And if I was there with Andy and I watched him with these type of teams, I would think he would do the same or more, respectfully. You give me Saquon, and you give me AJ, and you give me then you on the defense, you give me like, whoa, I don't know.
Hey, they just
you know what?
Really quick though,
it would be a punishment if they gave Andy Reid that type of stuff.
They just told me in my ear too, he did it without an All-Pro quarterback. McNabb was never an All-Pro.
Hey man, I didn't want to say it because I played with him, but since you telling the world, so when we asked about who's the greatest of all time,
McNabb was like that.
I love Andy.
Wait, real quick before you go, because I know he's going with this.
That's surprising.
But think how hard it is. You win in the division.
Thank you. Really.
Win a division.
Thank you. Yep.
You go into NFC Championship games.
That's hard to do.
With no All-Pro
That's crazy.
quarterback.
That's crazy.
Another one for you, right?
How was that?
Yo, hold on. Before Terrell almost got there in 2004, they've never had a 1,000-yard receiver. They had Todd Pinkston.
Yeah.
I like you, Todd. Never had 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
James Thrash.
Yeah. Thrash.
You never had 1,000 yards. So keep that in mind when you start talking about the team and all that as a coach.
That's a really good take.
That surprised me. Donovan McNabb was never an All-Pro. That's crazy.
You can't get over that.
Yeah, Peyton was there, Tom Brady was there, Big Ben was there. It's a tough era. Drew Brees. It's hard, if not impossible, to say Sirianni's not the best. If not impossible. Andy Reid is probably the best in NFL history, but in Eagles history, Andy Reid went to 1 Super Bowl, of which he didn't win it. Nick Sirianni in 4 years been to 2 Super Bowls. And not only did he win one, he also beat the baby goat, many would suggest, in Patrick Mahomes. A Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs team that beat every team on their schedule, not named the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, they lost to the Bills. Oh, but they beat the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. They beat every team on their schedule, people. Nick Sirianni, 2 Super Bowls, including a win. But also, though no All-Pros, I think we can all agree that a first-round, number 2 overall pick quarterback is probably better than a second-round, number 53 overall pick quarterback. A quarterback's the most important position on the team. So though Andy didn't have all these All-Pros, I would suggest, at least based on talent alone, and every scout in the NFL suggested that he did have McNabb. And remember, Sirianni did this with the Jalen Hurts, who he inherited, people. For me, Chase, I'm going to keep it quick and end my take.
Why you keep it quick? We got time.
2 Super Bowls, a Super Bowl win. Yeah. It's impossible to say it's not Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Not Nick Sirianni.
Not Nick Sirianni. It's impossible to say it's not Sirianni. Freudian slip?
It's Andy Reid, man. Like, I get your argument. I get fans' argument. Nick's been there for 4 years. If he continues this track, then you could say...
If he stops now,
yeah, if he continues the track, he's done it for 4 years. My thing is Andy Reid. Let's get back to Andy Reid. Andy Reid,
look at my boy,
made the Eagles before anyone else. He laid the groundwork for this future success that they've had. And he did it, like Shady said, with no All-Pros, very little All-Pros, very little help, Donovan McNabb, all this stuff. I get it, right? He didn't win the Super Bowls there. I understand that. And everyone's going to come back, well, Sirianni's been to 2, and he's won. I get it. There's no way I can go against Andy Reid. He's a franchise record for wins right now.
He was there longest.
He was there the longest, but I think it's almost impossible to say, like, hey, look, Nick Sirianni, great. But I played for Andy Reid for 3 years. And the best coach doesn't necessarily always mean you win the most Super Bowls. It's the impact you have on players' lives. It's the impact you have on the offensive side.
Players' lives now.
It's the impact.
Raising good men. We got the Super Bowls.
You and Nick Sirianni got something like that. It's the impact you have on players' lives.
Community
it's the impact you have on the quarterback.
How many houses did you build?
And the offensive coordinator part of it. Look, you can say that all you want. There's no way I'm going to say any other answer than Andy Reid. There's just no way.
Man. I was on your side until you...
You did. Because I had to have some argument for him.
I'm a heck of a coach, too. I'm raising some men right now.
I had to have some argument for him because Ancha's only won a Super Bowl.
Man, I understand what Nick Sirianni has accomplished. I do. And I respect what Nick Sirianni has accomplished. But when you right now put Nick Sirianni and Andy Reid.
In Philly. Only in Philly.
Only in Philly.
Only in Philly.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid in the same conversations, I think is disrespectful to
Nick Sirianni.
I think it's disrespectful to Andy Reid.
And
I don't really care about what you accomplished.
Super Bowls, you don't care about those anymore?
5 NFC championship games, a Super Bowl appearance and a loss. I don't really care if you've been to 2 Super Bowls and you won one.
You don't care anymore?
When you talk about coaching on that football field.
In the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes.
When you talk about coaching on that football field, I don't think Nick Sirianni can mess with Andy Reid.
And another thing.
Absolutely not.
You talk about the quarterbacks, but what about no all-pro lineman? None of that.
And that's
none of that. All-pro lineman.
One Runyon?
I went on. You went all-pro.
I thought he was good.
No all-pro linemen, no all-pro wide receivers, none of that. And you, real talk, to go to the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl with James Thrash, your wide receiver, and Todd Pinks and them boys, and then the running back, they ain't had no 1,000-yard running backs. They had one or two with Westbrook. You know how hard it is to do? But you don't care about that.
All you care is about Super Bowls.
But y'all, real quick.
Players
one time, last story. One time, I got in trouble with him I did something bad, me and Deshaun. He said, let me tell y'all something. He don't even curse. He said, y'all do that again, I will bench your asses. He said, I won more games with less talent. I've been in NFC Championship games with no Pro Bowlers. Y'all play with me again. I said, oh.
But not only
I looked it up, James. I said, he ain't lying.
Hey, when we return, speaking of guys that aren't just all pros or the all-time greats, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, not in the playoffs still. Has the old guard expired? Is it the end of an era? Have we seen the last championship with what you may have grown up watching? That's next to Facility. NBA playoffs, they're in full swing for some, but for others, the offseason is in full swing. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James all already started their offseason, which makes us wonder, is it the end of an era? Slick Rick, you've been there since the beginning of the era, and the era before that, I would suggest. So you know the answer better than anyone. Has Steph, KD, and LeBron, they won their last chips?
I hate being put in this position because nobody wants to close the door on all-time greats.
Oh.
But yes.
What you got to do?
They've won their last championships. There's not another one coming down the pike for a couple of reasons. Number one, you've got all these young guns coming who are now winning championships, and so they know they're discovering the formula of what it takes to be a champion. So that edge that those guys had is no longer there. But maybe the biggest part is that they are now getting paid as supermax guys, as guys who can carry teams to championships, and as good as they still are, they're no longer that. Yeah, if you look at every single one of them, they weren't going anywhere until somebody added another piece, another significant piece. Mm-hmm. And so the combination of what they're getting paid and what they're able to do is at the heart of why they are not going to win another championship, because there are better, younger players who are learning how to do that.
Yeah, I'm still mad at the Warriors, man. You couldn't get one done so Steph Curry could come back and play. No, I don't think.
They gave you 2022. That was out of pocket.
I'm talking about one game to get him back off that injury. No, I'm going to say one of them do get it, and I'm leaning towards Steph Curry. I think the Warriors will do something to get another guy in there to help Steph Curry, and I think Steph Curry can be that guy to still shoot the air out of the basketball and get his team to a finals and win one.
Where are you from?
Bay Area, you already know that.
2-5. Is it over? They won their last chips.
Nah. I think Steph Curry got one more shot. I think Jimmy Buckets, bring him in that locker room, helped them out. Got that intensity, that defense, right? I think they need one more piece. I'm hearing that Derek White might come over there. We need that. There's defense and some shooting. And I think if we can get one more big man, we're going to be solid. Because if you look at what really happened, they beat the Timberwolves. Plays.
Oh, yeah.
The Boston Celtics would give up Derek White.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening.
Hey, it's rumors.
Hey, it's time for Blitz Meeting. Hey, who's going to win the game tonight and why? We starting there. So many places to go next.
It's rumors. They said she liked me. I like her. It's a rumor. That's how it started.
Hey, it is time for Blitz Meeting. Conference Finals feature a new generation of stars. Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Ant-Man, and SGA Shady. Who's got the most to gain from a title?
Oh, this is an easy one, man. I'm going with Ant-Man.
Oh, unanimous.
Unanimous, dog.
Sweet.
Come on.
Sweet. You always tripping, man.
I did know what? I did want to say Brunson, though, because I love Brunson.
Yeah, there it is.
Knicks, that's big.
Light it up. It's the Brunson burner, only because New York Knicks. Like Shady said, if Jalen Brunson wins a chip in New York, first time in 50 years, hero. hero. And not only that, he'll transcend basketball. He'll start being in movies. Spike Lee gonna write him a role in something. But he got game 2.
He got to talk, though. He got to talk in the movie. He got to talk in the movie.
I got Ant-Man. If he wins his face in the NBA, like we've been wanting this. He's young. He'll win it. I know you got Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Now here, let's spend a moment for a second, because I don't disagree with y'all.
Yeah.
But if you want a chip in New York, bro, like whether Eli Manning, whether Jeter,
you did disagree because you have Brunson.
I'm saying, like, I don't care to argue about it, but if Brunson wins a chip, like,
that's big. That's big.
If Ant wins a chip, we're still debating if he's the face of the NBA. He shouldn't be. When's LeBron gonna retire? When's Steph gonna retire?
I don't think it's
like,
I don't know about that.
I'm saying if Ant wins a chip, he's not the face of the NBA on June 17th, the day after June 16th.
Yeah. Ant is already everywhere.
Yeah.
So LeBron still exists.
I understand that,
cool. Ant is everywhere.
World Divide Tour.
Yeah, he's way out.
You know what I mean? How much more Ant is going to be on when he wins this chip?
Okay, look, the Jags plan on using their top pick, Travis Hunter, on both sides of the ball this season. Shady, is it realistic for Hunter to win both offensive and defensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, he's the best player in the draft. He's the best offensive player in the draft. The best defensive player in the draft. Why not? He gonna give him a chance. The Jaguars already said we're gonna let you play some offense and some defense. Why not? You get some picks, take it to the crib, right? You get some touchdowns, take it to the crib. Why not?
It's gonna be tough.
I don't have time to answer the why of the not, but I can just give you the not. No.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, we're gonna find out.
I don't think he's gonna play enough on defense to win defensive player of the year.
Until what happens.
Yeah, my answer is no, too, man. All these highlights we see, we ain't seen him backpedal yet. Is he gonna play defense? I don't know. Are you lying to me? We ain't seen him play defense. I don't know how much
Lastly, your report says the league is expected to allow NFL players to participate in flag football in the 2028 Olympics. Shady, which quarterback would you want to see play flag football?
Probably the most athletic, talented quarterback in the league.
Dak Prescott?
That was a good one. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson. It's an easy one.
This might be
This should be a layup right here. Everybody should have Lamar. It's Lamar Jackson.
No.
I got Kyler.
Yes.
Kyler's not that good, though.
That's crazy. No. Flag football is different. Flag football, you have to be low to the ground. You got to be quick. You got to be able to move. I won a lot of national championships in flag football. It's different.